mighty effective. In terms of the running game for the Patriots, look, you're not going to get the best determination of who's going to be the best running back because we just don't know. Josh McDaniels is going to make up his mind whether it's going to be a rush-heavy game or a pass-heavy game when he wants to. I personally think this will be a pass-heavy game. It just fits right. It looks right based on the matchup. With that, I like Shane Vereen as an RB2 or a flex. I would stay away from Jonas Gray. I would stay away from LeGarrette Blount if I could. I mean, look, Blount's going to only get you points if he scores touchdowns, and Gray they're going to have to commit to him for a long-term run. He's going to have to get himself 20, 30 rushes, and I just don't see that in this game because Aaron Rodgers has a boatload of weapons. You're starting Aaron Rodgers, Eddie Lacy, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, and because Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb are going to pull the top coverage, I love Devontae Adams in this game. He is a great sleeper. If you've got him, you can easily get him in as a wide receiver 3. In fact, not only do I think he'll get a touchdown, he might even get 2. And to add to all this, and I don't know that I play these guys in fantasy, but you got to like Andrew Corliss and Richard Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not scared to go to his tight ends, and that's why I think this game will be high scoring because everybody's going to talk about Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, and those guys they're going to have a hard time. But Aaron Rodgers is not going to hesitate to go to his other people. And he's got a great offensive line. They should be able to hold the Patriots at bay, and that's why I think this will be a high-scoring game. And I also think that this will be the Packers win because they're just that good at home. Packers win. And those Cheesehead people, they're not all too bad.
Being a Bears fan, I disdain them.
I know, but I'm a football guy. They're not too bad.
No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Any group of people that would wear dairy products on their head, I'm suspicious of.
You do realize those cheese heads aren't really cheese.
Doesn't matter. It's symbolic.
Okay.
Might as well just wear. You know what? I would have more respect for them if they wore cow masks. I'm just saying.
All right, maybe we could start a new thing.
I'm telling you, I would have more respect than those damn cheese wedges. Seriously.
That's awesome.
I would rather, you know what, if I ever go to Lambeau, I'm going to dress up as a pack of crackers.
That makes about as much sense as...
Cheese and crackers. Get it? Cheese and crackers.
Anyway. Okay.
Let's party. Denver Broncos travel to the Kansas City Chiefs.
You did not say that.
I did. There it is. The Denver Broncos travel to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were playing pretty good football, especially defensively. Their first defensive yards per game, 7th in scoring. Their offense is never going to wow you, even though they are 5th in rushing yards per game. This is the Denver Broncos, kids, and it's Peyton effing Manning, if you know what I mean. The window is closing, but he has some pretty. The Broncos have some injury concerns. Julius Thomas is questionable with an ankle. Aqib Talib is questionable with a hamstring. And if you look on the other side of the ball, it's Alex Smith. I mean, I know that he's okay and he doesn't really take chances or anything like that. And he had a good game against the Raiders, 20 of 36 for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm not betting against Peyton in this game. I don't care who's home or away. And the Broncos are 2-3 on the road. They're not a good road team this year, but the Chiefs losing to the Raiders, it's something that just shouldn't have happened. I know it's a division game. I know that they were on the road. They are the infinitely more talented team. They should not have lost that game. Maybe they'll get back. That was a wake-up call. Get their act together. I'm not buying it, and I'm just not picking against Peyton. I'm going to take the Broncos.
Clearly, the Chiefs have some issues on defense, and certainly last week was kind of a wake-up call for them and sort of a sign that, this may not be the team that we thought they were. At least they certainly have flaws. I like the Broncos on the road. I like them taking on the Chiefs. There's just too much firepower there, and even though their defense is banged up a little bit, all that really does is give Alex Smith the opportunity to open up the offense, and to me that benefits Jamal Charles the most, who I think is this game's top play. In terms of the games itself, I'm picking the Broncos 23-20. For the Broncos, you're obviously starting all the usual suspects, and then I like C.J. Anderson, to get you about 100 all-purpose yards, but 0 TDs. The Chiefs, believe it or not, have only allowed 2 rushing TDs. And that's it, Keith. This is actually one of the dullest games I worked on this weekend.
We have a Twitter lineup question from actually Andy Carlson, co-host of the Claire versus Carlson show Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on LateNightSportsRadio.com. And he wants to know Colin Kaepernick or Eli Manning this week.
Ooh, that's a great question. Wow, where's this guy been? Look, for me, it's going to be Eli Manning against the Jaguars defense that generally struggles and gives up a boatload of points. I'm not going to go against the Seahawks this week. If you had to say, hey, do I start or sit Colin Kaepernick this week? You got to say Colin Kaepernick. The Seattle Seahawks defense is just that good.
All right, there you have it, folks. There's the answer. One more game to cover for this week, and that is the Monday night game, the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Look, honestly, can we just find whoever makes the TV schedule for the NFL, whoever keeps putting the Jets in prime time, can we just fire that person? They're just a tire fire.
Couldn't it just be like the evil Roger Goodell?
Bizarro Goodell.
The Overlord.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
the Overlord of all things bad in the NFL. Anyway.
You like Bizarro Goodell, he makes all the good decisions.
You lost me there. But anyway, keep going.
Because Goodell's made nothing but bad decisions, so the Bizarro Goodell would make good decisions. There, you with me?
Anyway.
You with me now? Anyway? Whether you think it's funny or not, are you with me?
I'm with you, sure.
Okay, moving on.
Last game of the night.
The last game of the night. Hurry up. Get to it. Jeez. The Broncos beat the Dolphins last week, 39-36. 22 fourth-quarter points. That's an epic collapse there for the Dolphins defense. They had been playing pretty good. The Dolphins were on their way to being one of the stories of the 2014 NFL season, I thought. Ryan Tannehill's development is still not talked about enough. 26 of 36 last week for 228 and 3 touchdowns. The Jets got absolutely embarrassed against the Buffalo Bills on Monday night, a surprise Monday night game for them. Geno Smith is probable with a sore right shoulder. What it's sore from, damned if I know. And that means that Mike Vick is probably going to be the starter. Jets head coach Rex Ryan indicating that he would like to go back to Mike Vick based on what, I don't know. Maybe it's he knows he's getting fired, so he might as well just screw with everybody's head. I don't know. The Dolphins are on the road in New York. The Jets are a mess. The Jets are third in defensive rushing yards. They are 14th in defensive passing yards. That is not the problem. The problem is that they do not have a quarterback. The Dolphins' defense is more than capable of dealing with this. I'm picking the Dolphins on the road.
Yeah, the Dolphins, they should lambaste the Jets. And if this were a turkey dinner, this would be a feast. Look for the Dolphins to win this 27-16. I even thought about saying 27-10, but I figure Nick Folk can kick a few field goals more. Look, Ryan Tannehill, I wrote an article about him this week. I wrote an article about Jarvis Landry. This is a team that's in a good spot in the stretch run, given their schedule. This is the first meeting of 2 with the Jets. Ryan Tannehill has been playing well. He's playing up to his competition. Certainly, he should be able to play above the Jets. So look for Ryan Tannehill as a low QB1 this week, and you can start him over a Colin Kaepernick. You can start him over an Eli Manning. You can start him over a Russell Wilson. You certainly can start him over a Jay Cutler. You start Jarvis Landry as a high wide receiver 3 or mid wide receiver 3. And if you had to squeeze in Mike Wallace, you could, but I like him more as a flex. The Dolphins DST is the number 1 start this week. If you picked them up last week or if you had them on your pine the entire season, God bless you. You make sure you start them. One sit for the Dolphins is Lamar Miller. Look, the reality is the Jets against the rush have been really, really good. 86 yards allowed, just 6 TDs on the season. So he's a player that you could bench if you had to. And for the Jets, really the only play over there is Chris Ivory as a flex. Otherwise, I think this is a Dolphins team we'll be hearing from between now and the end of the season and at least into the first round of the playoffs.
All right, so that wraps it up. So now comes my favorite part of the night, where I get to talk about my fantasy team.
God, I really tried talking long enough so that wouldn't happen.
I understand. So here's the deal. I already clinched my division. So and I beat Steve to clinch it, by the way. So next time you talk to him.
Yay, where's that? Yay!
Yeah, wait, hold on. I did have it queued up. Silly me. See, even the kids feel good when I'm successful in fantasy. Okay, so this game is really a throwaway, but I still want to win, just for pride. So my conundrum here is I only have one quarterback, and that's Jay Cutler. I named my team Cuddy Does It, and Jay Cutler is my quarterback. So I'm riding him out. You want to talk about Bears fans? You want to talk why I'm a Cutler defender? Because I have a vested interest in this. With that being said, I have two defenses on my roster. The Denver Broncos defense and the Detroit Lions defense. Now, I know in our previous conversations over the last year or so that we've been talking, you have been an adamant philosopher as far as not starting the defense your quarterback is playing against.
Well, it depends. I mean, in your instance, I would start the Lions, but I wouldn't start Jay Cutler.
I don't have any other options right now.
There's nobody on the waiver wire.
Nobody worth it. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks available, shall we? Oh, Eli Manning's available.
There you go. Done. Pick him up. Plug him in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Eli? 5 interception Eli Manning from 2 weeks ago?
Yes. That guy.
Okay. Anybody but Cutler.
The hopefully 0 interception Eli Manning, or maybe 2. Maybe let's say he gives 2 this week.
All right, so now I got to drop somebody. So who do I drop? Trey Mason, Bishop Sankey, or Shane Vereen? It's a keeper league, by the way. Remember that.
Oh, just.
You know what? I still got Ronnie Hillman, and I got CJ. I got CJ on my team too. CJ Anderson. So I'll just drop Ronnie Hillman.
Okay.
Done and done.
All right, there we go. Problem solved.
Look at that.
Yeah, here's the reason why for the listeners out there is it doesn't work. I mean, if your quarterback does well, he's getting points, and then you're watching your defense go down. And the reverse is true, which is you know if your defense does well, your quarterback's numbers usually are going down. The only exception to it is if somehow your defense pulls off a defensive touchdown, a kick return touchdown. That could make a difference because those are solid numbers. They usually don't get deducted as one earns stats and one loses stats. But that situation is so rare. I mean, you can't depend on that outcome in order to play your quarterback against the defense he's playing that weekend. I mean, it's like quicksand. That's the way I describe it. Every time you think you're getting out, you're getting sucked back in.
I try to get out, and they keep pulling me back in.
That would be the case, Keith.
That's my best Pacino from Godfather 3 impersonation, which not many people do. No, not many people try to impersonate the Godfather 3, and for good reason. Let's just be honest.
And that reason would be
it wasn't a good movie.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I mean, was it like the other Godfathers? No, but it wasn't meant to be.
It was better than 2. That's for sure.
Well, I love 2.
I mean, one is in its own universe.
Yeah, one's yeah, but 2's a great movie.
Is vengeance gonna bring your son back to you? Mine back to me.
No, that was good. That was good.
I forego the vengeance of my son, but I have selfish reasons.
I've been working on that for years.
That was really good. Hopefully, you get a little mileage out of that every New Year's.
I doubt it. See, it's kind of the point where my family is just tired of my sense of humor.
Oh, who could blame them?
Look at you. I'll give you one last drum roll there, drum fill there. And on that note, it's time, kids. It's time to end the show. Good luck, folks. Fantasy football regular season finales. For Jim Saranteas from thefantasygreek.com. Follow him on Twitter at thefantasygreek. And head to thefantasygreek.com this week for all of your fantasy football questions, rankings, the Skybox,